Welcome to Talking Jets. My name's Ryan, and I got my internet working again. I'm so excited. Boys and girls, I am joined alongside my co-pilots. I've got Green Bean, the Jets fan, and Matt O'Leary. Boys, how you doing tonight? Green Bean, I'll throw it to you first.
Hey, I'm in a good mood, man. I went to Chocolate World today. Got a 1 pound peanut butter cup. So what could be wrong? I'm in a good mood.
Matthew O'Leary, how you doing, brother?
Good. I'm excited to be here and talk about this draft. I was saying before we got started here, it feels like I see you more than my family, but it's an absolute blast talking Jets with you all.
Oh, man, this is a great thing. This is our Jets family right here. Like, if you have a family tree, it's like, well, you know, we're all on it. Everyone in the chat. J. Cole, Joseph Purdy, Benjamin, Indy, Ant, GZ, SW, Steven, John, Snowball, Frank, throwing some names out there. Wah, 2K99, the E Empire. What's up, brothers? The E Empire comes in. He says, what do you guys think about the Jets documentary? Yeah, Jets documentary coming out about the offseason. Pretty excited. I love the way they...
I was hyped up on that trailer.
Dude, I'm excited. I would show the trailer on here, but I don't know if I'm allowed to. We'll see. I gotta not do that. No risk and stuff. All right. So we're going to get into some of our draft grades. We're going to talk a little bit about the draft in general. Ooh, and I see this is a great comment from our man, Vinny. May the 4th be with you. Jets will restore balance. Now, boys and girls, I saw a comment yesterday. We went live on Richie's channel over on Jets Media. So if you want to check that out after this. We are the Jet Eye Council tonight for you. The Jet Eye High Council. So not too shabby. Kind of.
I like that.
Who's your favorite? So let's do this. What's your favorite Star Wars movie? We didn't talk about this. It was just kind of I think I like Empire Strikes Back the most. That one was a lot of fun.
Yep.
I watched that as a kid growing up, so I was like.
For me, I'll preface. I'm probably gonna get murdered in the chat. So the only reason why I saw Star Wars is because I lost a bet, and that was like a couple of years ago. Like I was the longest running guy who like have never seen Star Wars, so I lost a bet. I had to watch the whole thing. With the 5th one, what's that one?
Yeah, that's Empire Strikes Back.
Okay, yeah,
that's the snow one.
Unless it's the 5th, unless it's really the 5th one that came out, that would.
No, that's the second one that came. Yeah. Oh no, no, that was 1 and 2 was trashola. That was painful to see.
Do you know what makes those 2 movies better, Matt? If you after this stream, seriously, go look up the Darth Jar Jar theory because it all makes everything a significant amount better. And then they kind of screw it all up, but it's like still like really cool. And in my mind, Darth Jar Jar is a thing. Green Bean, what about you? What's your favorite one?
Well, it's Empire Strikes Back, without question. I do happen to like the prequels a little bit better than some other people, and I like the new ones were sad to me because they had such a good opportunity to really recapture us, and they did with the first one, and then they threw it in the toilet. So that's sad. But I did hear that they're going to be remaking the most recent trilogy. So that would make me happy. Really? But yeah, so it's all about Empire Strikes Back. I'm a real Star Wars nerd, man. I read 31 Star Wars novels. I used to know all the different fauna and, different prey animals on each planet and all. I mean, I knew way too much. That's why I stopped. I'm like, this is terrible. I can't possibly know this much about droids in a fantasy universe.
I love fantasy stuff like that. That stuff's amazing. Like Game of Thrones, I was like that for a while. I was like that with I shouldn't say Star Wars or anything. Someone said Star Trek, baby. It puts a photon torpedo up Darth Vader's ass, says Greg Tarr.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, see, whatever. All right. So let's get into some draft talk. We'll talk a little bit about. Oh, I should have queued up the little. Actually, maybe I can share that. I should be able to share that. Oh no, it's a video file. It's not a video file. Never mind. Not going to do it. I had all these draft picks pulled up on the side, and now I'll just pull them up on my own side over here. All right. So at number 2 overall, Jets take Zach Wilson. What are our thoughts overall on the Wilson pick? Probably pretty happy, I would think. Matt, what are your thoughts? Any second thoughts at this point in time?
Such a reach. No, I'm super excited to watch him get on the field. We've known this for a while now. I feel like that it was going to be Wilson at 2. When Darnold was traded, it really started to feel even more real. And then just having it, come to fruition on draft night on Thursday was like, you can finally have that sigh of relief. I think we're all more excited about the Elijah Vera Tucker pick just because we kind of knew this one was coming with Wilson. But I'm just really excited to see him get in action. And with the rest of the class, I know we'll talk about the draft class as a whole. I got to be excited about what they put around him versus the last quarterback, to say the least.
Oh, for sure. Oh, wait, I can share this. What up? Let's do it. Bam! There's the draft class. All right. See, that's a little bit better. All right. So I think we change it from going from pick to pick to more so going over. Oh, here we go. Sugar Clay. Sugar Clay says, the draft was great. One important question, who's going to be our kicker? It's an important part of the game. Who's available and who do you want? If you guys don't know, the Jets have signed undrafted free agent, kicker, Chris Nagar. If you haven't seen his video, he boots a 71-yarder in practice. Now, I believe in a game, I think his farthest kick is like 46 yards. So really not like the best thing. But if he winds up being our kicker, you damn well better believe his nickname for me is going to be the N-bomb. I don't know what you guys think about that, but it's better than screwing up the name on camera. So
like literally the N-bomb, like saying it that way.
I'm just going to say that because I feel like when I first started saying that name, I felt like the guy, was it Randy Marsh on Wheel of Fortune?
South Park.
Yeah, he's just the guy goes, I'd like to solve the puzzle, and the guy peeks out from the camera. I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna be in trouble.
Nagger.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, that was
Lee comes in with a super chat says, big fan of all 3 channels. Keep up the great work. My question is, who do you believe will be our starting right guard? Ooh, Lee. We'll get into that in just a second. So make sure you stay tuned. I want to go through some of our topics. Then we'll start hammering out some of these super chats. All right. So let's do this. Let's do our best value pick. Let's say that. I guess I'll go last. So Bean, you start us off.
Wait, I'm sorry. I was typing. Wait. Well, I'm sorry. Dude, it's so bad.
Green Bean, you're up.
Well, funny because
he got too quiet and he's just like,
oh shit, that's me. No, I was talking to Kaiser Rev. He really got me thinking. He said the way he pronounces his name is Nugar. He said it himself. So I was like, and I was just processing that. I actually commented, and then it was silent. I was like, oh shit. That's sorry about that. I was in the chat. What did I miss? I'm ready.
So best value pick in this draft. What would you say is the best value pick?
Oh, the best value pick without question is Nasruddin. I mean, he was like we were talking about often. I mean, he was a top 5 rated safety in the draft. And even if he didn't get injured at the end of 2019 and miss a large chunk of 2020, which he did come back from and play well. But if he didn't get injured, he was potentially a second round pick. Even with the injury, he was predicted to be a mid-3rd round pick. The fact that we got him at pick 186 is incredible value. And he's a player, man. So I think he might not be my favorite pick overall, but where we got him certainly elevates him to that type of status, like absolutely fantastic value, and I'm happy with it.
Matt, what about you? What would you say the best value pick is?
Yeah, I'm going to echo Green Bean. It's definitely Nasruddin. Just to go in a different direction here, though, to talk about a different player. I think you could also make a strong case for Elijah Moore at 34. I think a lot of people thought that he was someone who was going to go in the first round. I saw a lot of people who had him as a top 20 player. And the fact that he was still there at 34, I think, was a massive surprise to the staff in general. I mean, you saw how excited they were to call him. I think if they stayed at 23, there's a strong chance he would have been the pick. That's how excited they were about him. So while Nasruddin is definitely the obvious answer, like I agree with Green Bean, I think we should also just point out that Elijah Moore at 34 is also tremendous value too.
Yeah, that's actually where I was going to go with this. I think for me, I'll go a slightly different route. I'll go with Michael Carter, the first Michael Carter we took. And I was saying I'd like a running back in the fourth round. Now I didn't, once we went through day 1 and day 2, I didn't really think running back was the proper decision based on the picks that we had already made. But based on the player himself and the skill level and talent he possesses, I think Michael Carter is a phenomenal back. I think he's easily going to be our running back 1. And I think he should just get a ton of reps. I would love to see him and Ty Johnson really take the reins. Like we were saying during the draft, I'm not sure P. Ryan has a spot on this roster right now. I think it's going to be real tough for him to find a role. Coleman depends if they hold on to him into the season or if they think he might just be a camp body. But yeah, I think those are all pretty solid value picks. Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's say least favorite pick. And let's do. I have a feeling we might all pick the same one.
Yeah.
But Matt, I'll start with you first.
Yeah. For me, it's Jonathan Marshall. It's the last one, and I'm not going to throw a temper tantrum over the very last of pick 207 and stomp my feet over it. It was just a little deflating to see that it was a defensive tackle coming off the board. And I understand, like, I get it. This guy's an athletic freak. Totally understand. You don't have to sell me on him, but just him there in that spot when at best, he's their 7th best interior defensive lineman right now, probably. That might be generous at 7. They're very deep at that position. So I was hoping they'd go a different direction. I know Green Bean was as well. I'm sure we'll talk about his guy in a little bit. But it was just a little bit of the wind coming out of the sails a bit for that final pick, in my eyes, at least.
Green Bean, what about you? Did you have a least favorite pick on here?
Yeah, well, it's the same one, but just like Matt did previously, I'm not, I'll talk about a different player. I'm not in love with Jason Pinnock. I think, look, I didn't dig into him like I've still yet to do, but I did spend a little while reading some of his scouting reports and predictions. And a lot of people are saying his ceiling is special teams, backup kind of guy. So, I mean, look, if he ends up being that hardy type of special teams defensive back and he's just with us for a decade and he's just one of those demons, that's also very valuable. And I won't be unhappy with it. But currently, just where we stand today, I don't love that pick. There were a lot of guys that I held in high regard sitting there at that point, and I still would have liked to see us go a different direction. So that's currently next to Jonathan Marshall. I'd say Jason Pinnock.
All right, so I'm going to throw a real curveball here, and I want to preface this by saying it's not really my least favorite pick. But I'll kick a hornet's nest. Why not? All right. So I'm going to say Elijah Moore, and it's not not that I don't like him. It's if you had asked me before the draft if I thought the Jets should take a wide receiver at 34, I would tell you no. I don't think that was the right move. The player looks phenomenal. It's the perfect style of player that we needed for the offense that we currently have. It's not Corey Davis. It's not Denzel Mims. It's going to replace Jamison Carter with way more upside. So here's my sort of spin, I guess, on it. I just hope the maturity level has kind of come up. For those of you that don't know, we've probably all seen the highlight tape of Elijah Moore. There is one highlight tape that shows, the final thing of him, having a little excessive celebration, and he pees like a dog, just like Odell, and that drove me bananas. I hate seeing that. It's just one of the, I don't mind excessive celebration in certain circumstances, but that one sort of irritated me. And not just that was for a game tying touchdown. And because he got that 15-yard penalty, it pushed the extra point back an extra 15 yards, and they missed the kick in a bowl game. So his selfishness caused his team to lose the game. So for me, I just hope that was a learning experience for him, because it seems like a lot of people really like this guy. The talent is clearly there. I would say that part, it almost like, I don't know. Was he a captain? Was that like I didn't look at. I know we picked a lot of captains, but I don't know if he actually was one or not.
I don't. All I know is he made AJ Brown cry.
Yeah, well, that was like, see, that's just it. Like, I can't say it's like my least favorite pick, because my least favorite pick is the Jonathan Marshall one. But I think that's one that maybe might have been a little bit. I would have preferred maybe a different direction, but once they started going offense, then the Michael Carter pick starts making sense, and it's like, okay, if you had to build a draft the way the Jets did, it's like, okay, build it around the offense, and then you get to the later round picks where it's like such a crapshoot anyway. You just start taking a ton of darts and throwing them at the positions of need. So linebacker or will linebacker, like a safety hybrid, cornerback, slot cornerback, like those things. I like this draft a lot more, seeing how it kind of was rounded out. So let's do this. I want to do favorite undrafted free agent, and then I want to go to the draft grades, because my grade changed once I saw undrafted free agency. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but Green Bean, I'll throw it to you first. What's your favorite undrafted free agent?
Well, I almost feel like I'm being set up here. It's so obvious, but I mean, I love Kenny Yeboah. If we would have taken Kenny Yeboah in the 4th round, I would have been happy. If we would have kept our thirds and taken him with 86, I wouldn't have complained. And that's the type of player he is. I really looked into, obviously the tight ends are kind of a little pet project for me, but Kenny Yeboah was one of those guys that I really dug into a lot. And I looked at all of his years at Temple. I looked at why he went to Ole Miss and what was going on with him, and what he thought about Lane Kiffin and how he tried to kind of work the last year of his college, and why he stayed an extra, a 5th year. And he's such a good player. I mean, he was young, and he, his upward trajectory was kind of slow and steady. So even though his numbers aren't quite where you would like to see somebody that you take in the early rounds, he just hasn't had the chance to get there yet. You know what I mean? So he's still on the upward trend, and I just think he is such a positive, high potential prospect. I can't believe we got him as an undrafted free agent, and I couldn't be happier. There are a few though, and if you want to wait until we get into them, like more of the class a little bit later, I'll hold off. But there's a couple undrafted free agents I think we were very fortunate to get. But I'll just stick with Kenny Yeboah. He's light years ahead of everybody else for how much I personally like that we were able to add him.
Matt, what about you? Who would your favorite undrafted free agent be?
It's a really boring answer, but I'm going to go with the kicker. Just because. God damn
it. Okay, go for it.
No, well, I mean, think about it. Ever since Joe Douglas has gotten here, the kicker has been an awful situation for the Jets, whether it be Sam Ficken or Sergio Castillo, right? I always forget his last name. I know it's Sergio. I want to say Garcia, but that's the golfer, I'm pretty sure. And then after that, I mean, Kari Vedvik, that whole disaster in 2019, major issue. And I'm hoping that this is someone who can come in and compete for the job right away and hopefully win that job, because it can't get much worse than what the Jets have been trotting out there the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's exactly where I fall. And I was going to say the kicker as well, because it's just been the amount of points that have been lost based on extra points, missed field goals, not getting touchbacks. Like, if this kid can be our starting kicker, and I don't know, it's going to be, I don't want him to be the only one, because if his long in a game is like 46 yards or whatever, that's just not long enough. I mean, he clearly has enough leg. He was able to hit that 71-yarder in practice. So as long as he doesn't crack under pressure or anything like that, there is so much more room for us to get better on special teams from a kicking standpoint. I mean, your kicker scores you basically the most points of the entire season. So you better, invest in a good one at least. So let's round this around. Let's go around the panel. Let's talk about our grades. And I'm interested to see if your guys' grades changed at all based on undrafted free agency, or if you liked our draft class as a whole from the get-go. So, Matt, I'll throw it to you first. What were your thoughts on the draft class, and what would you give it as a grade?
Yeah, I'm still at the same grade that I was originally, which is an A-, which I think is still a phenomenal grade. I think that they had a really, really good draft. I do have some criticisms of it. I don't think it was perfect. For example, the Marshall pick. I also thought that Michael Carter, Pinnock, and even the cornerback Eccles was a little bit of a reach. I thought all three of those guys were probably later round guys, especially Carter, but supposedly Salah really likes him. So maybe he turns into a player. But overall, I thought it was solid, very solid to get an A- grade. And I think it's an improvement from last year's draft class, which I was still high on as well.
Greenby, what about you? What would you say your grade for this draft class would be?
Well, I'll say B+, and I think the free agent class actually had a lot to do with that. I mean, I like this class. Like, I'll give you guys a stat from ESPN Scout Incorporated that I saw today. You know, there's only been one team in NFL history to take 3 players with an above 90 average from Scout. And that was in 2005. It was the Miami Dolphins, and we just did that. So we're the second team in history to be able to pull that off, and that's with Zach Wilson, Elijah Vera-Tucker, and Elijah Moore. So when you have a top 3 like that, and then you add Michael Carter, these are guys that are almost guaranteed, barring some freak whatever, to be solid contributors / starter type of guys. When you can get that out of every draft, you're having a good draft. So then when you add guys like Nasruddin and Michael Carter II and all these other guys, I mean, that's a good draft class. I still struggle with certain aspects of it, like we talked about, like taking Jason Pinnock, taking Jonathan Marshall. The trade was a little bit expensive. So there's a lot of things in there. I'm not going to complain about it like Matt was saying earlier. It's not worthy of complaint for me, but at the same time, I can't give it an A, because an A is just when I love a lot more. But let me tell you, man, adding Kenny Yeboah and Rashid and a couple of the linemen in undrafted free agency certainly made that nice and solid for me, that B+. I'm happy with the draft. I think it's really good.
Yeah, for me, I was at a B+ after the draft. Like, after we took Jonathan Marshall, I was probably at like an A-. Jonathan Marshall, I was like, B+. You guys are jerks. Take another defensive lineman. I was like, I'm not happy with this defensive tackle. I do like that they got the 4. I feel like our first 4 picks are definitely starters day one. Like, I think that is a awesome thing to be able to plug into your offense. You get the young quarterback. You protect the young quarterback. You give the young quarterback a weapon on the outside, and you give a young weapon in the backfield. So I think that's really important. It's something that we didn't do with a lot of our other quarterbacks coming in. Now, I will say this. I was really high on either the late round tight end and late round kicker. I was very upset. And then undrafted free agency happened. And the Jets went out and they paid one of the highest guarantees to Kenny Yeboah. And they go out and they get the kicker as well. So, like, I would have wanted them to draft it, it's even better that they got them in undrafted free agency. Now, I still wanted Borregales over, Chris Newgar. I guess that's his name. But I'm not going to be upset. If we had this draft under any other regime, it's 100% an A+, because we have had some horrible drafts over the course of our fanhood. Now, where do we stack this up as far as this draft class versus last year's draft class? It's a little different because we had the 2 first-round picks this year, so you have to weight it maybe a little bit differently. Greenbean, I'll throw it to you first. What are your thoughts between this draft class versus last year's draft class? What did you like? What did you not like?
Well, last year's draft class for me is really good, man. I mean, I love last year's draft class. I mean, we already got 4 starters out of it, and I think that we're about to see more with Cam Clark, Jabari Zuniga. I still believe in Pirine, as you guys know, and I think guys like Huff and Lamar Jackson have real potential, man. So I think last year was knocked out of the ballpark. So I would lean that way. Just, early returns, I would just lean towards last year as being more solid, but we don't really know. I think it's really interesting because we're trying to pin down this Joe Douglas guy, and it gets harder and harder to do that. So anyway, I think this is a good one. Last year's was a bit better for me.
Matt, what about you? Where would you rank this among the 2 draft classes that we saw from Joe Douglas, and what did you like or dislike about each one?
Yeah, I definitely think this one's the better of the 2. And last year I think was, very solid. Loved the Becton pick, loved the Mims pick, and really thought they got some nice value with Bryce Hall later. This one I think was helped because their additional draft capital, which allowed them to trade up and get another solid player. So I think the top 4 really, holds value for me more so than last year's. Which is fine. And I felt like last year had a few more head scratchers also. For instance, Pirine going where he did. I think we could all agree that he was probably someone who was going to go later in that draft. And the Zuniga pick was a little interesting. And the Morgan one was obviously the big one that stuck out.
Yeah, for me, I think this draft is the better of the 2. I'm hoping that Nasir Al-Din can be like our Bryce Hall of last year. That was just such a home run of a pick. If Hall can wind up being either a first or second string cornerback, I think that's absolutely huge for this team. I like the first 4 picks of this draft a lot. I like Wilson. I like Vera Tucker. I like Moore. I like Carter. Last year, the Becton pick, getting the left tackle was huge. Getting Mims was a guy that I thought would go in the first round. So I like the Mims pick, maybe then Moore and Carter. But I think getting Vera Tucker, especially after the free agency we had where we missed out on Joe Thuney, was just so massive. Like, I don't care about the 3rd-round picks because no one's going to remember them if this guy winds up being a stud. And to protect your valuable number 2 overall asset, I said this before, it's not Mac Jones at 15. This is, your number 2 overall pick. This is like 3 first-round picks. That's how valuable that number 2 overall pick is. So to be able to protect him and do what we didn't do for Sam Darnold, didn't do for Geno, didn't do for Sanchez, or did for Sanchez, but then, didn't retain the talent. I think it was absolutely huge for this draft. Do we have any more comments on our draft as a whole, or do we want to go into some other potential topics, go into some questions on the side maybe?
I'm good. Let's get into questions.
Ooh, okay. So one thing I did want to bring up, well, let's throw Scott Wilson's super chat up there. Scott, thank you for the super chat. Says, I know we are talking about the draft, but big picture, what an offseason for us. Salah, LaFleur, Lawson, Davis, Wilson, AVT, Moore, all gas, no break. Yeah, this offseason as a whole has felt absolutely awesome. Being able to get Lawson and the coaching staff, because a big thing for us last year, or the last 2 years, it's been Adam Gase, and it's been a wet blanket over this franchise. To have a guy that comes in here, when we were watching those recordings of the Jets front office calling the draft picks and like Salah just getting fired up, Joe Douglas getting super excited about Vera Tucker, I loved seeing that. Like, I thought I wanted to run through a brick wall for Salah. Like, that's how excited this guy had me feeling. I think the Lawson pick the Lawson signing and the Corey Davis signing were so huge. I think those are going to be integral parts of this team moving forward for at least the next 3 years. So let's go around the panel. Let's see, how did you feel about this offseason as a whole? Was there a favorite player that we got, or a coach that we got, or one part of this whole puzzle? What was your favorite thing? Matt, I'll throw it to you first.
As you were asking me that question, I was really thinking through a lot of different scenarios. And then one thing popped in my mind that I said, I think I have the perfect way to sum up why this is different. And it was the moment that Christopher Johnson said that Joe Douglas has full control. because that is everything. He had the authority to make the hire, which was Robert Saleh, and I think it was a good hire, which then led to Mike LaFleur being brought in here, which I think is a great up-and-coming offensive mind in this sport, which then led to them taking Zach Wilson and moving on from Sam Darnold. While that was tough, I still think it was the right thing to do. And this led to a really good draft class and free agency class, and it seems like a place where, people are going to want to start to come. So to me, it all goes back to that thing. Without that happening, I don't think we're in this situation. So that's my answer.
Ooh, Green Bean, how about you? Was there something that happened this offseason that you loved, that, whether it be a draft pick, free agency, a hire, something that was said? What to you was such an integral part of this team?
Well, number one, we actually realized that needing and getting a pass rush is kind of important. That's one. We haven't seen that in a decade at least. It's really incredible how neglected a pass rush has been on the New York Jets. But I think the biggest thing for me, and it's really funny, like nobody really wants to care about it. And I get it, it's not exciting, but to me, it's the biggest thing in the world, what Joe Douglas did to the medical staff. Like, obviously, this didn't happen overnight, so it's something that he's been working on for a while, but like he watched, 2/3 of his draft class not playing opening day, and he basically had enough, and he gutted the entire department and recreated from scratch the kind of medical department that has not existed yet in the NFL, which has 4 doctors, a doctor over every department. So there's a rehab doctor, there's a nutrition, a nutritionist, a nutrition doctor, there's a medical doctor, there's all these guys, training doctor, and then there's another doctor overseeing all the departments, so they work as one. We've never seen anything like that. There's no other team that has it quite like we have it, and I think it's the biggest thing in the world, because look, even today, Quinnen Williams goes and breaks his damn foot. I feel a little bit better with our medical staff today than I did last year. I mean, look at our injuries, the most IR in the past 2 seasons combined in the NFL. That's not good, man. Like, we're not 15th. We're not 18th. We were 32nd in the NFL, and that's not good. So that's the big thing for me. It shows that there's more focus on this than just like, hey, I want to pay the highest guy in free agent to shut the fans up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I'll say this. I'm going to go somewhere in between both of you, because I think those are both incredibly critical points. I'm going to say the infrastructure for the quarterback, and that's maybe that's a cop-out, but I think having a coach that can oversee the entire team in Saleh is huge. Bringing in this offense in LaFleur and that Shanahan-style offense, I think, is huge. I think it's a very quarterback-friendly system. It's one of the systems we said, hey, if Sam Darnold could have an ideal system, that's it. If you could bring in an offensive system, it would be, Andy Reid or the Shanahan system. That's where you would be looking. Then you say, okay, we've got the offensive coordinator that can work solely with Sam Darnold. You have a passing game coordinator. You have a quarterback coach now. Like, that infrastructure around our young quarterback is going to be so massive. And then you bring in Corey Davis, you bring in Keelan Cole, you bring in, Elijah Moore, Michael Carter, Tevin Coleman, Yeboah, you're surrounding the kid with a ton of weapons, and you're adding more depth to the offensive line with Elijah Vera Tucker and some of these undrafted guys. I think that, to me, is the biggest change from what we had with our previous regime that I think is going to kind of push us over where we may have otherwise been, without all those pieces in place. I wanted to get to this. So Angel jumps in and says, win predictions. What are we feeling any sort of way based on the draft picks, the free agency, and all that good stuff? What is our win total? There's going to be 17 games this year, so slightly different than years past. Green Bean, I'll start this one with you. What would you say your win prediction would be for the Jets this season?
It shouldn't confuse me as much as it does, but let's see, 1 game added. So I'm looking for a 500-ish, but that's not possible anymore, is it? What a weird thing. Let's go 1 game over 500, whatever it is. What the fuck? I can't do it. I can't.
It's 9 yeah, 9-8.
Thank you, Matt.
This is the whole math majors thing. We're so bad at this. What about you, Matt?
Dude,
where
I can't believe
where
how
you,
hard.
Where are you sitting on the win-loss column?
If they go anything less than 15-2, I'm gonna be pissed. No, I'm right at. I'm sticking at 7-10. I've been on that bandwagon for a while. I think there'll be some ups. I think there'll be some downs, but overall, I think they're somewhere around the 500 team. Like if this was a normal season, and what I mean is 16 games is normal to us, I would have been right in at 7-9, but not like the phantom 7-9 from 2019, like a legitimate up and down kind of a year, 7-9. And they might lose some games because their secondary is not that great, and they might lose some games because they have a rookie quarterback who turns it over a couple times. But I think we're going to see flashes, and we'll see a game where Zach Wilson wins it for the Jets, maybe a couple of those, and then a couple of games where the defense is really getting after the quarterback and creates a bunch of turnovers. So I think we'll see the beginnings of a light at the end of the tunnel this year, but not quite there yet.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. That's kind of where I'm at with you, Matt. I would say we're going to have a losing record, and that a lot of that has to do with how wishy-washy I think the linebacker core and secondary could really be. Like we have the potential to not have a great back seven, I guess. Our front four looks legit, but I think we're going to have a lot of opportunities for Zach Wilson to throw the ball because we're going to be down in games because our secondary may not be up to par. So I think 7-10 is a solid answer. For me, it's almost not so much about the wins, losses. And I know it's the same with you guys. If we just see growth from this young quarterback from week 1 to week 17, that's all I need to see. I just want to feel comfortable at the end of the season, be like, okay, this is the guy we're rolling with, moving forward. I think that's the biggest thing across the board. And then you see growth from some of the other guys. Like maybe we see Cam Clark start playing a little bit. Maybe Zuniga plays a little bit better. And, you start getting some of these other draft picks. And I'm just excited. I'm excited to see this defensive line. I want to see some sacks for the first time in a long time, because then that starts creating like a domino effect. And if we can score some points, then we can have those pass rushers tee off. The problem is going to be if we can't score points and the other team's scoring points, and now we have to run the ball, or not run the ball, but we have to score points. And now Zach Wilson's getting teed off on because they're the opposing team's pass rushers can kind of tee off. So not always the best. Sugar Clay, thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated, brother. Mitt Flair comes in and says, just want to thank you guys for live streaming during the draft. You guys are awesome. Mitt Flair, you're awesome.
Yeah, man.
Right there. That's right. You sitting right there. You with the big old dong. Sorry. I create. Oh, I don't know if you guys saw. Hold on. This is gonna be a bad transition. I created a bunch of new emojis. One is not a dong. Sorry.
I thought that's where we were going, Matt.
I was all sorts of in the wrong headspace for this. But I added 2 new emojis. So members of the channel, go take a look and see the 2 emojis that are in there. I have to make actual new ones because I'm probably gonna swap out the last maybe 3 or 4. I just haven't had the time to sit down and actually make them. But we got a little jet bomb, like a little explosion. There it is, Adam. And then we got an F bomb in there as well. So those are
look at that.
Those kind of fun.
Oh, I like it.
Right. See? All right, like a little bomb. Should I keep the nuclear jet thing?
Well, are they quickly? Are they for members or are they for me? Like, are
those
they
are
for
members? I wish I could gift memberships because they are so much fun.
No, I should just give them.
Green Bean's got or Matt's got a great emoji.
Oh yeah,
best. They got it. That's the one thing YouTube hasn't done. Holy smokes, Matt Curtis, great little icon. I haven't seen that yet. I think you're the first person to have that blue and purple jet, which means he's one level. He's he just put the Robert Saleh face and the F bomb in the chat.
There it is. Right.
Yeah. So that's the first time I've seen that jet. That's I think that's the 1-year anniversary one. I think there's a 2-year one that's like a diamond jet, which is really badass. But either way, really friggin' cool. So
these are good, man. These are good stuff.
Yeah, it's fun making all these kinds of things, and it's fun throwing them in the chat. I love that banana is already like an emoji, so it didn't take up a spot. Oh, it's great.
Did you guys? I don't know if you've heard on the podcast, but our friend Jeremy from Sacramento called in and had maybe my favorite Just Jets call ever, where he was just Cox puns the entire. It was like a minute straight of him doing the Cox pun. I clipped it and put it on my Twitter. If you haven't seen it yet, just scroll back.
Oh man, I'm going to check it out as soon as we get done with this stream. We had between Joe Blewett on the second day of the draft and the very beginning of day 3 of the draft. The amount of like Cox jokes were just through the roof,
off the wall. Yeah,
it's just absolutely crazy. John drops in the super chat, says, "Hey guys, great job on the draft. I have a question. How much influence did Gase have on last year's draft?" I don't know really, to be honest, because if you're looking offensive side of the ball, I don't really feel like Mims or Becton should be given. I don't think Gase should be given credit for either one of those two selections. I would say if I had to guess, James Morgan would be one. He's more of a statue, kind of like the Peyton Manning thing. Maybe not. Maybe that's a Joe Flacco level thing, and it's a Joe Douglas, selection. I don't know. That would be the one I'd probably pick. Matt, do you think there was any influence from Gase last year?
Green Bean, plug your ears.
I know.
I know exactly which one you're going for.
Michael Pirine. I think that's the kind of back that Gase really likes. Good pass protector. Like, there are some things to his game that I understand why you might want him in your running back group. I just don't think, like, when you see what Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh did this draft, it's like the complete opposite of a guy like Pirine, who doesn't really have that speed and athleticism that we saw. So I think that shows me some more Gase vibes than it does Douglas. Yeah,
not to mention the LaFleur Shanahan offense. All those running backs out in San Francisco all ran sub 4.40s, and Pirine is a 4.6 like 1 or 4.68 or something like that. So kind of a drastic change in type of back. Grimby, what about you? Do you think Gase had much of an impact on the draft last year?
Not really. I don't disagree with the Pirine statement. It's interesting too, because Gase was reported to like tall, athletic linemen. If you look back in Miami, the guys that he brought in, it's very similar to what we brought in here. But I don't know how much influence he really had. I think Joe Douglas may have humored him to some degree, but I think it was more about Joe Douglas reverting back to what he saw Ozzie Newsome doing and just kind of grabbing building blocks. I think if there was someone, I think the two guys you said, James Morgan, Pirine, those types of guys would be most likely. I just don't know how much effect he really had. My opinion, and I think I'm right with this one, is that Joe Douglas knew Gase was gone the minute he took this job. Like, he just went through the process. He's clearly a very patient man. He knew that reporting hierarchy sucked and all that. So I don't know. I think if there was a couple, it would probably be Morgan and Pirine, like you guys said.
John comes in with a super chat, says, "Why can't we win now? Even a bad team can win any given Sunday, i.e. the Rams game." This is true. Now, I think we're all sort of tempering our expectations. We are going to have a better coaching staff. It's going to be hard to have worse than the 32nd ranked quarterback. So I think at the very least, we're going to have not the 32nd ranked quarterback. I think we have an easier schedule. We have more weapons on offense. We have a better offensive line. Like, all these things, we have a better pass rush. Like, nothing's really changed from last year to this year, with the exception of maybe like no Brian Poole in the secondary. Like, other than that, I think everything's pretty much intact, and you're getting CJ Mosley back, which could, at the very least, it's not going to be a negative. I don't think you're using some, even if he didn't play well, you're using someone else that's probably not worse than what we had last year. So I think you could see the Jets. I don't think playoffs are going to be reasonable this year. If we get hot and Wilson is the real deal, and who knows, we could start winning now. Green Bay, do you think there's any shot? Let's spin it this way. Do you think there's any shot we wind up sneaking into the playoffs in a 17-game season and a 7-team playoff in the AFC?
Yeah. Well, I think exactly what you just said, like in your little statement there, you kind of said one little sentence, like if we get hot, like it would be one of those, if we did, which I think is unlikely, I think it would be one of those Cinderella type of things where, taking teams by surprise. I mean, we've seen it a few times. We saw it with Mangini when he took over. We saw it with Rex Ryan when he took over. We saw it with Todd Bowles. Even though he missed the playoffs, he came out of the gate and went 10-6. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. I think it is unlikely, but that's exactly what it'll take. Like, late November, we all of a sudden get hot and we're just, we go on a 5-game winning streak and then end up getting the 7th playoff spot. I think it could happen, but I wouldn't be betting on it. You know what I mean? So it's going to be tough.
Matt, what about you? Do you think there's any shot we sneak into the playoffs?
Sure. There's absolutely a chance that they sneak into the playoffs. I'm not willing to bet on that, but as Green Bean just laid out, like there's scenarios where that happens. And outside of Adam Gase's first year, I mean, look back at head coaches since Herm Edwards has come in. They've had success every single time in year one. Him, and Genie, Rex, even Todd Bowles in his first year. I don't think he was a great coach, but they went 10-6 in his first year. So there's a chance that they overachieve. It happens all the time. Teams come out of nowhere. Now, I think it would be pretty nutty if they went from like a 10-win team to like a 2-win team to a 10-win team overnight. That'd be pretty wild. But I mean, who knows? If Zach Wilson hits earlier than anticipated, then there you go. There's your answer.
Chris drops in with a super chat. Says, personally, I think the floor is 7 and the ceiling is 9 for a win total. I would like to believe 7 is the floor. I mean, based on what we saw this year, you could definitely see a 5-win team next year if like things don't kind of break the right way for the Jets. And our division's not really getting any easier per se. Like I'm not really worried about the Patriots. The Dolphins, I'm not sold on Tua, but if he takes a step forward, that's going to be a hard set of games. Buffalo, I think we probably wind up getting swept by them this year, maybe with the outside chance of winning our home game. I don't know. Who are we playing this year? It's the AFC South, I think, because it's Titans, Jaguars.
NFC, we play the NFC South too.
It's the NFC South and the AFC South as well. You're right.
Yeah, and then I think it's the Eagles are the NFC team we wind up playing.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're looking at it, Saints could be a winnable game. We don't know what their quarterback situation is going to look like, possibly. I mean, if Jameis is 30 for 30, then maybe we wind up sneaking out some turnovers. The Falcons are an interesting team because a lot of it hinges on what happens with Matt Ryan, because that team is pretty good, and I like Arthur Smith down there. The Panthers, I think, are probably going to wind up beating us. I think they have a pretty talented team down there.
They're beating. There's no way.
They're excited.
Oh no.
Yeah, no.
Sam's going to throw 3 picks to Michael Carter II and Jason Pinnock.
That would be fantastic. All we have to do is force them to throw deep, and then just Sam won't hit them. That's what's going to happen.
They're not going to run us.
And then what is it? We're not winning against the Bucks. And then the AFC South, I think we beat the Jaguars. I think that's going to happen. I think the Titans, we probably don't win. I think who else is in the South? The Colts, we're going to lose against. I think.
The Texans, they should beat.
Texans, they should beat. That's 100% true. Unless something crazy happens and Watson does play for him, doesn't get locked up in the clink. Floor is 7. I think the floor is probably 5 wins. I think 5 wins with the ceiling probably being 9. I don't know if I see 10 wins happening with the Jets this year. Let's see. I saw another super chat pop up. Where was it? Give me just a second. I will find it. There it is. Scott Wilson says record against division opponents. Oh, okay. Well, we're kind of going into that. I'm going to say 3-3 with us sweeping the Patriots and then beating the Dolphins. I think we lose against the Bills twice. I think we sweep the Pats, beat the Dolphins once, and lose both games against the Bills.
Okay. I'm not that confident. I'm going 2-4. I think they split with the Dolphins and the Patriots and lose to the Bills twice.
Okay. Green Bean, what about you?
6-0. I don't have to just explain it any more than that.
No. I would say mathematically, I would say that is a solid winning record against every single opponent.
Yeah, man. Screw this division. They don't know. They don't know what's going on. That's one of those things. That's why these teams can come out of the gate and have those kind of fun first years, because nobody knows what to do against it. They don't know what they're going to bring. So I think Allen gets exposed a little bit this year.
I think the Dolphins wind up, pooping the bed after going 10-6 last year. I think Tua comes crashing down. They don't have Fitz there to pull out some magic wins, and then Cam Newton just falls apart, and Mac Jones is a statue in the pocket, and our pass rushers just tee off on him.
I hope you're right, man.
I know I'm right. Green Bean and I are closer to right than you, Matt.
What's interesting, right? You know what's interesting about the Dolphins is like they're clearly doing some very positive things down there. But if you look at one of
Is he alive?
Oh,
that's a great Frozen.
That's a great Frozen. I want to kiss him. He's like all puckered up. I will finish his statement. He was saying what's great about the Dolphins, or interesting about the Dolphins, is he thinks the coaching staff is good. They're doing some great things down there. But I love how they miscalculated their draft, and they wind up drafting Waddle because they lost out on Pitts and they lose out on Chase, and then they have to take a receiver that, came out and said he likes Mac Jones better than Tua. I was giving TD Finstock a little bit of hell because I'm in a little group chat with him and like Richie and a few other guys, and I was like, I was like, yeah, good luck over there. I'm talking a bunch of smack as a 2-win team. So it's
tough.
I probably shouldn't be doing that, but
no, probably not. But we got to a little. My biggest fear is Mac Jones being good, because I feel like I've been. I was very much so anti Josh Allen, and he kind of murdered my soul this year. And I'm afraid that Mac Jones is going to do the same thing. So it would be nice if we had a Josh Allen regression and Mac Jones just underachieving. That'd be pretty solid for me. Gonna be honest here, boys.
No, I think you are. We're all probably on that same boat. D-Rock drops in with a super chat. D-Rock says, how much will Zach Wilson play this preseason? He's going to play a lot. I bet he plays the first 3 games. I don't think he'll play week 4. Oh, no, there's only 3 games. Plays 2 games. I think there's 3 games this year because they added the extra 17th. I think there's 3. So I'm going to say he plays 2 games. His last game is going to be, I would assume week 2, preseason week 2 is probably the Giants game, I would think.
Yeah, so I would say probably I'm going to go first quarter in the first game. He'll get like a quarter. Second game, maybe the half. And then maybe third game, he'll get like a drive, and then that'll be it. Or maybe, if anything.
I would have said probably a half for the first game. I would say 3 quarters for the second game. Give him the opportunity to show what he's got after halftime, kind of make some halftime adjustments. And then I think you're right on the last game. I think we probably see a drive. If it's a bad drive, maybe you get a second drive out of him. Like, I think they want to give him enough reps going into week 1. I bet week 1 we're probably facing the Bills again. We've played the Bills week 1 the last 2 years. I think they like that. They throw us the Jaguars.
I don't buy it. I do think the Jets and Jaguars play on that has Thursday Night Football written all over it to me.
It does. Yeah, it definitely does, because there's that they want to highlight these 2 young quarterbacks and putting like potentially, but I think it's gonna be early in the season because I don't think they're gonna risk Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson being bad. Like that wouldn't shock me if it's the first Thursday night game aside from like whatever the initial.
I think in my prediction for this, I'm pretty sure I put that in like week 2 or 3 in my predict. Like I think it's going to be early. They're not. Neither team is good enough yet where you can put them on a Sunday night, obviously, and I don't think that game's even good enough for a Monday. But that just screams Thursday Night Football to me.
Steven in the chat goes, "How do you get to Hershey Park? You take the Hershey Highway." Oh, that's dirty. You're gross. Rusty Spooner says, how many sacks do we get as a team this year? Let's do this because I don't know what a good total is for sacks.
That's a great question. How many did they have last year?
Yeah, I have no clue. Let's say who gets the most sacks and what is that number? I'm gonna say it's gonna be Lawson, and I think it's gonna be 8 sacks.
Oh, I'm gonna go Lawson also, but I think he's at 9.5. I think both him and Quinnen finish with over 8 sacks.
That would be absolutely enormous. If we can get Vinny Curry with like 4 or 5 sacks as a situational pass rusher, that would be phenomenal.
Yeah,
very happy with that.
Because that's what he was basically the last 2 years for the Eagles anyway. He was only you put him in on pass rush downs and say, okay, get after it, and he'd give you, 3 or 4 sacks. But I think he could do that for sure.
100%. I could ask Green Bean when he winds up popping back. Oh, perfect. He's coming back right now. Bam! Green Bean back in action. What's up?
I'm embarrassed to tell you how long I talked.
Dude, we were making fun. We were like you like froze like this. And we were like, oh, look at that beautiful face.
Yeah. I was like,
right.
blah, 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 because Brian Flores, hey, you never know. I was doing all this. I had this whole spiel going, and then I'm like waiting for your reply. I'm like, oh, there's I'm done.
So tell us about it. What did you think about the Dolphins? What was your take? Because I was dying to hear it.
Yeah, I was just saying it. I'll make it quicker this time. Maybe that's the lesson. Don't be so wordy. But I was just saying, like, the way that they mismanaged when Fitzpatrick was really on a hot streak, they benched him, put Tua in. He struggles a bit, and then they bench him to put Fitzpatrick back in. That's a major mismanagement and a big batch of bad decisions. And to me, it just looks like, he might have problems with the tougher decisions. Like, it's easy to tear a team down and just draft players and all that sort of stuff. Not easy, but it's the easier portion of of building a team. When you have all the personalities, being able to manage that is difficult. And I thought that was a major misstep by Flores last year. And I'm looking for more of that.
So let's go into another topic. Actually, real quick, Rebeen, who do you think has the most sacks, and what is that number for us this year? And you can't say Zach Wilson.
Yo, that would be a tough one. Yeah, that sucks. Well, like I said, I think the thing I'm most excited about this year is the fact of number one, switching back to a 4-3 or even a 4-2-5, just a 4-man front. That to me is Jets football. The sack exchange was a 4-man front. The 80s and 90s teams were 4-man fronts, like with Marvin Washington, Scott Mersereau, Dennis Byrd, Jeff Lageman. Like that to me is Jets football. 4 effective defensive linemen. So the fact that we're going back to that is really positive. I think putting Carl Lawson, Quinnen Williams, John Franklin Myers, Vinny Curry, those types of guys on a 4-man front is going to be really exciting. I think it's going to be Carl Lawson, man. I'm really looking for that to be the golden nugget of our free agent signings. I don't know if it's going to be, but that would make me the happiest. And I think it's very possible, man. That guy plays hard. And with Saleh, he might.
Green was bragging about his 5 meg. Oh, there he goes. Here we're back. We're back. What the
fuck was that?
What the hell?
I think no, you know what it was? I'm not even kidding. A flying ant landed on my. I have a Mac. And it has that touch bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it flew right on. It flew and like crawled across it. I think that's look at these things. They're everywhere.
Oh, look, it's a matter, Daddy.
Yeah. What's the matter, Daddy? So anyway, I think it's going to be and hope it's going to be Carl Lawson under Saleh's tutelage. And I think the number is going to be 11.
Ooh, I went with the lowest. I said 8 sacks by Lawson. And then Matt said 9.5 by Quinnen? Lawson. Okay. Yeah, we're all in the wheelhouse there.
Wouldn't it be great though if Q came out of the gate here, fixed that broken toe, and ends up getting like 14 sacks? Wouldn't that be something, man?
If he could turn into like the next Aaron Donald, I'm looking forward. I want him to have a big season this year. If he can get us 9, 10 sacks, something like that, lock him up long-term after the season. You can stretch that signing bonus over the course of those 2 cheaper rookie years, and then he becomes cheaper on the back end. And we have no one to pay. He's the first guy that we're going to have to pay because Sam Darnold's off the team now. what other draft pick are we going to have to pay a lot of money to? I don't think there's any. I think it's just him right now.
Joe Douglas has given him such a grace period with this stuff. It's really quite amazing when you look at it. Like you said, Quinnen Williams is going to be the first guy. He's got a couple years before he has to really worry about the big contracts. Obviously, he's got his free agents, and then we're going to have this May thing, which is good news to me, by the way. I hope they get it worked out. But yeah, man, he doesn't have like that big payday coming for a long time, considering.
Let's talk a little bit. Are we worried about the Quinnen Williams news today? We've heard he's going to be out 8 to 10 weeks. Now that means he's going to be missing minicamp and he's going to be missing organized team activities, but he will be ready for training camp and ready for the season. Is there any concern that we might have any sort of lingering injury here? Greenbean, I'll throw it to you first because you were bringing up the medical staff.
What was the actual question? No, do I think Quinnen Williams' foot is going to be okay?
Well, do you think there's going to be any lingering issues? Do you think we have to worry about him not being 100% come week 1 of the season?
No, I think, look, it's not good news. I don't want to spin it that way, but I think they said it's a small bone in his foot. So that makes me think pinky toe or something like that. I don't know how many small bones we have down there. But I think it's just one, it'll be fixed like any other broken bone. It's not a torn tendon. It's not ligaments. It's just a bone. It just needs to heal. And he needs to get back on it and run around. So I think he's going to be ready way before training camp, I think I read. So I'm not too concerned. It's not good news, but I'm not too concerned about it.
What about you, Matt? Are you worried there's going to be any lingering concerns for Quinnen Williams?
No, I think he's going to be all good to go. 8 weeks puts him at, oh God, we're going to make us do math again. What's 2 months from now? July?
Yeah.
Okay, so he'll be fine. He'll be good to go by the time preseason rolls around. I'm not worried.
Yeah, I hope we don't see any sort of like lingering effects from this because I want this guy to tee off. This would be equivalent, like if he had lingering issues from this would be the equivalent of like Sam Darnold getting mono year 2 for me, I think, because we needed to see a big step up from him, and that would suck. Although I think we've seen enough from Quinnen to probably, feel good about him long term.
We thought that about Leonard Williams after year 2.
That is true.
Yeah.
That
you
is.
Think Leonard Williams do you think last year was a beginning of a trend, or do you think it was a contract year?
For Leo, no, he's going full Mo Wilkerson. He's going to go right back into a shell after getting paid.
Ooh,
that's what I think,
man.
Too. And it sucks.
Did they give him the big deal, or did they give him the franchise tag?
$21 million for 4 years.
That was such a bad. I think that was way too much for Leonard, but I think they gave up enough, and they franchise him last year.
They did. They franchised him, and he signed it, and then they signed him, and that was 16 or something like that. And then this year they gave him 21 mil. Joe Douglas dodged a bullet. Even though he had an excellent year, I agree with Matt. I think that was the anomaly, and he might still be a good player. He's always been solid. I think one of the best things about Leo is the fact that he's healthy all the time. So, and he plays hard. He's a good dude. But 21 million, man, and for what'll probably be something like 6 sacks and a bunch of hurries, I think is probably too much.
Yeah, I think they drastically overpaid there, and I like Leo a lot. I think he was one of my more favorite McCagnon picks. We had so much depth at D tackle, and especially with the Quinnen Williams pick, it just made no sense to try and retain him. And so I think the Giants and the Jets can both win that trade. I just think the money they gave Leonard right now is just a lot of money. And I don't know who they have coming up. I know Barkley's going to need a contract next year, but I think I think they might have some buyer's remorse later on, probably next offseason, I would think. So what do you guys think? You want to jump into some video calls? See what the fans out there want to talk about?
My internet looks good. Let's do it.
Let's see what we got going on. So let me throw the little banner up. Bam. If you want to join the stream, I'm going to post the link in the live chat off to the side. It's going to be pinned to the top of the live chat. So if you want to jump in with us and give your thoughts on the draft, the Quinnen Williams injury, what you're excited for, some other topic, by all means, jump on in. We'd love to have you. Let's see what else we got. Oh, Cadoza, man, jumping in real fast. He's like, man, I got speed fingers. All right, nice. Cadoza jumping in. What's up, brother?
Yeah. What up,
Look at this
What's up,
guy.
brother?
What's up,
Good to see you all for
Cadoza?
the first time in a long time.
This is great. Man.
Hold
Awesome to
on.
have you
I've
here,
got two
man.
things open. Okay, we're good to go.
So, what do you think about this year's draft class?
I love it. I couldn't be happier, to be completely honest. There's a couple, I don't know. I can't complain about it. Literally, I can't complain about it. What else do you want? You get a franchise quarterback after you decided to trade Sam Darnold and get draft picks that you didn't expect to get back. Like, what else do you want?
Oh, 100%. What would you say your
Elijah
favorite
Tucker, you get
favorite
a
draft
first round pick quality in Elijah Moore. You get pretty much a first round pick quality. Some people thought he was the number one running back on the board overall in Michael Carter.
Ooh.
A lot of darts thrown with the defense, so but that's still talent. There's still talent across the board, and with a coach like Saleh, who's taken players who didn't expect to become better and actually make them better, I feel like that's a win across the board, especially with Hamza Samilad. I can't pronounce it.
Nasir-Al-Din.
Thank you, appreciate it.
I don't know if I'm
feel
saying it
like
right. I
he's
think I'm
going
saying
to
it
be
right.
the kind of player that we need both as a middle linebacker and in a very nickel dominant NFL. He's going to be a player who can play that right in the middle of it.
Mhm. So what would you say your favorite move of the offseason was as a whole? It doesn't have to be a player. It could be coach. It could be.
It was definitely the coach. It's definitely the coach.
Yeah.
For a long time, I've wanted a coach who made you feel like you could get behind him, who could like inspire not only the fan base but the players around him.
Mm-hmm.
And I would always look at the Pittsburgh Steelers and think, man, if I had a coach like Mike Tomlin who could like inspire the troops, even when they're at their worst, even when somebody like Ben Roethlisberger goes down, they're still in contention every single year, who can build a franchise and can work with the general manager and some solidarity among the ownership group as well. Like, he's a consensus builder. He's kind of that general. He's kind of that person who can speak to every single level, whether it's upper management or the players, like again, unsigned free agents. There are people who are gassed to be a part of the Jets because he's a part of the Jets.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Well
the kind of coach that I've been like dying for. And to see like Adam Gase looking crazy for his
first interview
press conference. I was like, are you kidding me? This is the coach. This is the guy.
Yeah,
the one who we've seen for the past 3 years tearing up the Dolphins, making them worse than they've ever been. Again, making their talent look worse.
So do you want to hear something funny?
I'm sorry. I believe in Saleh really, really deeply.
Yeah, Cadoza, listen to this. During the Adam Gase press conference, I was sitting in my office watching that thing live. My wife walked in, watched 30 seconds of it, put her hand on my shoulder and said, "I'm so sorry."
That's how I felt. I feel like that's how I knew I felt before the conference, and then just seeing him come up like, that was exactly what I expected, and it was the worst feeling. It's like the worst. And then to see someone like Colin Cowherd saying, this offensive genius, Peyton Manning, signed off, checked off on him. He had his best season of all time. Did you watch Peyton Manning in Indianapolis? Like,
yeah, drove us up a goddamn wall.
It was crazy to believe that Adam Gase, who we already saw ruin a franchise with talent, and send the most talented players away, like little by little. And that's exactly what he did with the Jets. He continued to send away some of the people who could have been long-term starters, people who might have been like on the lower ends. I can't remember off the top of my head, but he's just he was so divisive off rip among the fans, among the other coaches, bringing other coaches in, bringing in like, and then when he brought in Greg Williams, everyone was like, maybe he should have been the head coach. I feel a little better if he was the head coach, because at least I've seen him turn around a shitty situation. And he came into a shitty situation and made it a dumpster fire.
Dude, it was the biggest thing that happened this offseason was the culture change. Like you said, with
Absolutely.
Salah coming in, with how many times did we see this offseason? Like, especially around the whole Richard Sherman, the Allen Robinson, the Deshaun Watson, like guys wanting to come to New York. Like, that hasn't happened since like 2009, 2010. Like, that was huge. I felt really good as a Jet fan. I feel like I could be proud of my coach again.
I felt like I could be proud of the franchise again, because this franchise has been so – even, you know, I'm going to give a little credit to Woody Johnson, because we've had Chris Johnson here mucking up everything. Let's be honest. There's not been a single decision he has made that's been positive for this franchise. At least Woody Johnson made the Rex Ryan decision, I guess. I mean, that's about all I can say, I guess. I don't know. I mean, he hasn't been great, but he's been better than Chris. Chris has been like an abomination. He's been, you know, Idzik bad. So I
think he did change the uniforms.
I don't even. I'm really hoping we change him again in 3 years. Not that I like hate him, but like, I love the old. I wish they would go back to the Jet swoosh, like the O'Leary one.
Maybe we go back to the old Titans colors.
I don't like that either.
I want to be green. I
like green.
You don't want the navy and copper gold color?
Mustard. It's not copper. It's mustard. I like mustard.
Yeah.
No,
I like the one O'Leary. The one O'Leary has behind him. I'm with Ryan. Like, keep what we have now. The colors are great. That's fine. Just take that Jets off and stick the other Jets on.
The classic.
Right. That's it.
Cardoza, thank you so much for joining us. We're gonna get some calls, brother.
Great to see y'all guys for the first time.
It's good to see you, man. Absolutely. Rock on, man.
That was awesome. Ejected. I need to figure out the whole ejection thing. We got Jeremy. Jeremy, drop it in. What's up, brother?
What's up, guys? Woo!
What's up?
I love it.
I'll tell you, you know, the whole time we're talking about this season. First of all, I'm so excited. Imagine what it's going to feel like when Zach Wilson goes onto that field. He's got Michael Carter behind him. He's got 3 real wide receivers. All right. I mean, you got this kid Elijah Moore is going to be crazy exciting. You got Mims, who's definitely going to step up this year. He's going to hopefully have that healthy, preseason and everything going into it. You got Davis, who's experienced. I mean, think of the excitement, right? The juice of like all this newness, and then the defense. I'm excited to see these hyper guys throwing their bodies all around, you know, as linebackers, a disruptive line. Then I think to myself, after all that, think about this. This is what really pumps me up. Next year, we go into the offseason with more money, with a double draft class, 2 number 1s, 2 number 2s, 2 number 3s. And we're just going to haul in more picks. I mean, it's going to get crazy. I'm so pumped. I mean, a lot of it depends on Zach Wilson. Obviously, he has to pan out and be the guy. But I believe in him. And if he is anywhere from good to great, we are going to be very, very serious.
Dude, I can't wait, because we're going to see the one thing that I really like about this draft class. So we got the good valued players at those positions. So, you know, our top quarterback for the system we're running, our top guard in the draft class, a wide receiver that just fits like a glove for our receiving core. And then Michael Carter is a guy that they would have taken, I think at 66 is what they were saying. So I like that. And then you take the darts, you throw the darts at the dartboard for the late round picks. And then next year you have the 2 firsts, the 2 seconds, and you're able to really go out and just hope that you get some late round gems like a Bryce Hall. Maybe Nasir Al-Din winds up having a good year, and you're like, okay, well, now we got our will linebacker. And then you go and you invest the premium picks in edge rusher to replace Vinny Curry, cornerback to you know, maybe round out Bryce Hall and whoever the other side is. You go out, you get, you know, you can see what Yeboah has and you can see what Herndon has. Maybe you spend a 2nd round pick on a tight end if neither of those work out. Right. And then who knows, maybe you draft another lineman, maybe you get the right tackle or something like that in next year's draft as well. I think we are set up to be in a really, really good position. And that's not even factoring in any of the free agent money that the Jets have. I think we'll see more of what we saw this past offseason, where Joe Douglas plays that money ball. He makes smart decisions. I think the Corey Davis and Lawson signings were huge. Corey Davis for what, $12 million versus like, what is it? Friggin'
Aguilar.
Who's the Aguilar got like 12.5. It's like night and day different. I would rather Davis 100 times over. So I think we'll see more of these smart decisions moving forward. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah,
Super
I agree with you,
exciting.
man.
Jeremy,
Super exciting.
was there someone in round 4 you were hoping the Jets were going to draft, maybe instead of Michael Carter? I was just curious.
I don't know. I know it's a guy that a lot of us wanted. A lot of us really wanted Cox.
We were full of Cox.
Huge
And
Cox.
like I said,
Huge Cox fans.
Well, Greeny wanted Cox, but then he wanted to find a really good tight end.
Yeah, I did. The way it works.
If you're not careful, it's a wide receiver.
You need the whole
Sorry.
package, But hey, the other thing we keep talking about, we talk about when I'm excited next year. I don't know if Kenneth Thibault is going to come out and be the starting tight end necessarily, but at worst, he's going to light a fire under Hernan's ass, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
He's really going to light a fire under him because you better play your ass off, otherwise you lost your spot easily.
Oh, 100%. Jeremy, what would you give this grade overall for the draft class? What would you call it?
I'm gonna say because of the signings after the draft, I bumped it up to an A-. I was at B+, but I'm gonna say A- because I'm super stoked about the guys he signed, and I love the blend. Like I could feel it was not only Douglas, but it was Forrest Sala. Like these guys are collaborating. You know what I mean? They're in sync, and I love it.
Mm-hmm. That just feels like everyone's moving in the same direction, and it's unbelievable how it feels like it's a cohesive unit for the first time in a very, very long time.
It's incredible.
Jeremy, we're going to get some more callers. I love you and your Cox. I'll see you later.
Peace out, guys.
Hey, Jeremy.
Oh, God. I love a good joke like that. It's so great.
It's good.
Trey, you ready, brother? I see you. Get your microphone ready. He's like, I was taking a nap. There it is. Bam! Trey, what's up, dude?
Hey. What's up, fellas?
How you feeling about this draft class, brother?
I love it, especially because we went to get AVT, which I said this about 2-3 months ago, bro. I kid you not. I said this a couple months ago that we should go up to get AVT, and people kind of butthurt about using 2 of our third round picks.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like if you're gonna do that for anybody, you would do it for AVT because you're trying to protect your true investment, your real investment. So I mean, hey, I'm all down for it, man. I mean, we could have thinking about it. If we'd have kept it through, we maybe could have addressed corner. Like we could have got stronger at corner rather than I don't know, man.
Well, I think that's. You're dropping shit over there.
Yeah, that's my animal.
That's animal, dog, cougar.
It's a cat.
Wildebeest, cat.
Well, listen, it's funny. It's funny though because Mr. Rick just said it in the chat. I thought you were spinning around in a chair, but it's your fan.
Yeah.
For the first, I was like, oh my God, how is he even staying conscious, man? He's like, that's what I thought was happening.
But no, I was I like how they keep adding instead of worrying about value at certain positions, it's more of a competition based thing because I feel like competition is gonna bring the best out of the roster. Mm-hmm. So at corner we got I really liked what they did in the 5th and the 6th round, and I feel like we could have got a big time cornerback, but I feel like competition at that position is gonna make it way better.
Right.
Yeah, competition everywhere is just so key. I think that is there a pick that you love? Is there one of everything we saw, or maybe an undrafted free agent? Is there someone that you think the Jets really hit a home run on? I know you said Elijah Vera Tucker.
Yeah, I think
you think that's the one
because he's just so solid. And he's played multiple positions. He was all Pac-12 at tackle. Mm-hmm. And then he's gonna be a guard. So I mean, I love that pick. Put him anywhere.
Yeah, man.
Well, with Becton getting banged up a little bit, it's good to have that option at left tackle. I think that's huge. Step in for a game or two if you had to.
Exactly. I loved it. Yeah. I loved that pick for real.
Right. Versatility is big, just like you said, and I could not agree more. For so many years, we've had these players, and it was just understood they are the starter.
Exactly.
There was nobody to push them, and they just get comfortable and sit there. Even guys like Tremaine Johnson, there was nobody on our roster to challenge him. So it's now we have a competition-based system. But in addition to that, we have guys that are actually versatile and can do different things for different schematic sets. And man, it's an exciting time what we're watching happen over here for the Jets.
And last thing I want to say, I'm so happy we got a coach that could turn shit into gold, man. Because I think I see 7 games. And look, Zach Wilson is plus 850 for Rookie of the Year. I'm putting money on that, boy.
I like.
There you go.
Ooh, okay.
$1. $1.
Yeah, I'll throw some money at that. I think we got to get it before they start shifting the odds and they realize, oh wait, the Jets are gonna win the division and all this good stuff.
I think as long as you get in during the offseason, it'll probably go up to $1,000. To be honest, for Zach Wilson at least.
Who do you think would challenge him? Would it be? Do you think it would? I feel like Lance has got to have a pretty good shot. If I had to guess,
if it's anyone, I feel like it's gonna be Trevor Lawrence because they just
so?
they be riding him so hard, bro. So I mean, unless because I don't think I don't think Trey Lance is gonna play a full season. So
you know what? You're right.
Yeah,
they'll probably start Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally.
Well,
where did Najee go? Najee wound up going to the
Pittsburgh, man, with Freiermuth.
Yep.
Yeah.
They
had a banging draft, man. I love their draft.
The Dolphins gonna fall off though. That's all I had to say, bro. I appreciate y'all for having me on.
Thanks for hopping in.
Take it easy, dude. Thanks for hopping in, Trey. Peace. Oh God, I really like the video call-ins. It's fun to see all you guys. ZJ, man, you ready, brother? Ah, look at him. Out of tension. Bam, ZJ. If you don't know what it is, you can't afford it, my friend. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing? Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely, brother.
Wonderful.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm just really like this draft because there's a lot of, like you said, versatility, and there's a lot of people who can actually play in this new 4-3 scheme. We went cornerback, we went defensive back for the last haul of picks, and it's just wonderful. And I'm just really excited. I'm just so much optimism here, and I'm really, really excited. I think we're going to trade CJ Mosley maybe, or like get his contract off the books. I don't know what you guys' opinion is.
I think he's definitely gone after this season. I don't think we'll get anyone to take on the contract because $17 million for a linebacker that hasn't played in 2 years feels like a little bit of a pipe dream.
Yeah.
But like I also it also wouldn't shock me to see like Douglas just pull the trigger and like cut him if he's not being productive this year. Same way he did with Bell.
That's right.
Oh,
just eat it.
And quick point on the change of uniforms. I'm a huge fan of it. You know, I do it like every other game.
Oh!
You know, it's pretty good. You know, I got to rock that Keyshawn Johnson.
There you go, brother. I love it.
Nice. Thank you.
That's awesome. Was there a pick? Was there a pick you liked most in this draft? Or even an undrafted free agent? It was Veritucker. I think the fan base is pretty high on Veritucker.
The only thing is that the thing was that we traded with. I forgot who we traded with. It was either the Raiders or the Vikings.
We traded with the Vikings.
The only thing is, I think they used that 3rd round pick on Wyatt Davis or somebody like that who would have been a perfect guard at that spot and would have been extremely good value, as many people saw him as like a 2nd rounder.
Dude, that's one of the things that like I feel like the Vikings and the Jets have had a few trades. Like the Jets, I remember
it's like us and the Seahawks also always tied.
Dude, I wanted Pat Elflein so bad the year he was getting drafted. I was like, all right, center, boom, just makes perfect sense. Let's plug it in. And then friggin' the Jets trade out and go ahead. The Minnesota Vikings wind up taking Pat Elflein. Now, hindsight being 2020, it would have been a bad pick either way. But I was a little frustrated with that. And then you wind up trading up with the Vikings, and then it's like, all right, they wind up getting the guy Wyatt Davis that a lot of Jet fans, had mocked to us in like the 2nd round or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm happy with the trade. I think you can forget value right off the bat. I think it feels a little bit better knowing we have the 2 firsts, the 2 seconds next year. Like if we had to trade up, look at what the Bears gave up to get up to number 11, 9 spots. They had to give up a 1st round pick next year. Like we didn't have to do that.
Right.
I'm okay with it.
Like that's just a horrible value for what it was. And it's like when I first read it, I was horrified because I was like 2 3rd round picks. I was like, what? Like they better be getting a treasure trove. They better be picking Patrick Mahomes over again. So I was glad to see that they got Elijah Vera Tucker because I'm literally sitting on my sofa at home going, if it's anybody else besides Elijah Vera Tucker, I don't want to know.
Dude, that was the one thing. Oh, I love it. What's her name?
Peaches.
Peaches.
Peaches. What's up, Peaches?
Is there what would you say overall your grade would be for this year's draft?
I think everybody's giving it A-. A-.
That's
I
right.
think
I
that's
think the
it's
multiple
solid.
defensive backs is great. I think that the offensive line, the left side's nice and young. We need a new center, though. I wish we got a new center. There was a good center who went in the 4th round. I forgot his name. Or 3rd round.
Creed,
There were a few.
I think, went later, right?
Yeah, one
I don't
of the
think
better
Creed-
centers.
Yeah.
He went to didn't he go to the Vikings too? Creed Humphrey? Yeah.
God damn it. They're getting friggin' all the guy. Was that with
reminds
our
me-
pick, too? Was that the 66 pick?
Yeah, it reminds
Yeah.
me so much of the Sam Darnold trade, where we traded up to get it and we missed out on somebody I loved who was Quentin Nelson.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
Chiefs got Creed. John says Chiefs got Creed.
Chiefs got
That
Creed.
makes
I
sense.
love Quentin Nelson, but we need a quarterback.
that's right.
It's always
Yeah.
just like the same.
But that's
will,
just
you
it.
won't.
If you,
Yeah,
that was the biggest thing. It's like you don't roll with Sam Darnold and then pass on the franchise quarterback the way you passed on Mahomes and Watson, because then you wind up trading up the next year. Like, how much would it suck to run it back with Sam and he has like a 13th overall to like 17th overall type season, and now you roll into like 5th-year option and you're like, do we run it back with him, or do we use all our draft capital that we got from the Jamal Adams trade to go up and get the quarterback again? So taking Zach Wilson here just made a world of sense, and surrounding him the way we did made a ton of sense. Listen, brother, we're going to get to some more callers. I appreciate you.
Yeah, man.
I love it. Take it easy,
See you
Peaches.
later, bro.
All right, Sneakers to Boots. You ready, brother? Give me a thumbs up. There we go. Boom! Sneakers to Boots. What's up, my friend?
What's
How you
going
feeling
on,
about
guys?
this draft class? How you feel about the draft class?
I'm hyped, man. All I gotta say is thank you very much to Jamal Adams to being on his merry way and is kissing his ass goodbye to Seattle, giving us a 1st-round pick, 3rd-round pick, getting Elijah Vera Tucker. I can't be happier.
Right, Sneakers to Boots. Would you, if last year they would have said, will you trade Jamal Adams for a potential Pro Bowl offensive lineman and a 1st, would you have done it?
Oh, without even thinking about it. If you also think about it, Robert Saleh got like 3 Jamal Adams in the draft, potentially.
Yeah, that's where you get those guys. Right. That's where you get
like
those
just
guys.
sitting in the box safeties. Like they're productive up against the line of scrimmage, but they got bricks for hands or cinder blocks.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as our guys don't, but we know Jamal does.
Jamal's
at least.
got 2 interceptions. One against who's the backup for the Patriots at the time?
Well, it was
it was Castle
Jared
and it was
Stidham. It was
Stidham.
Jared Stidham.
Yeah,
Jared
Stidham and Castle.
Yeah, he's never picked off a starting quarterback in the NFL. Never.
That just
as a
feels
safety.
egregious.
Yeah, I mean, an all-pro perennial guard is hands down more investment than you can ever have besides a box safety. I mean, safety is a valuable position depending on the defense you play, like in a Greg Williams defense where the safety is lining up with a single high and one's dropping down, but that's not what Robert Saleh wants. He wants guys who are athletic, can play multiple positions, and pretty much guys who are just ballers and just can cover their zones, attack the ball, make the tackle, make the play. So I'm happy with the draft. I'm pretty stoked. It's just happy to finally have some positivity in this fan base again.
Right on.
So what would
Well
you say
said.
your favorite addition this offseason would be, from undrafted free agent, free agency, the draft? What would you be your favorite player that was brought in?
I mean, they're all wonderful. I mean, I think kind of like the unspoken hidden gem was what Greenby was saying with all the linemen that were tagged on at the end as undrafted, and I think his name was Hove, the BYU guy.
BYU, yeah.
I mean, I don't expect him to do much or even potentially make the team, but I think from Zach Wilson's point of view, coming from a smaller school, and especially because my brother actually lives out in Salt Lake, so I kind of know the area a little bit. So I think just him bringing over somebody who's a familiar face is going to give him a lot of confidence going forward to somebody knows he's been to battle with before.
Yeah, I think that's huge. I think the comfort level of we were talking about that with, what was it, the wide receiver or the tight end from BYU? We're like, oh, it would be nice to bring them in and at least have some comfort level between the two guys. And I think that's the same for a lot of players, but I think primarily with the quarterback, where you're not quite sure what to do. And like, it's a whole new world. Cause like Zach Wilson coming to New York, probably never lived in New York before or New Jersey. So he's coming to a new city and he's just like, oh man, this is like it's a whole new world for him. So having any sort of comfort level is important for the young guys, even if it's just a guy that's going to be here through training camp and he winds up getting cut.
Yeah, absolutely. But I just wanted to rep my jersey for Green Bean. I know he has the Gastineau. I got the Joe Klecko going on.
There you go, man. Beauty. There you go.
I think, what is the stat on him, Green Bean? I think he's like the only defensive lineman to have 3 seasons of 10+ sacks or something like that at 3 different positions.
Right. He made the Pro Bowl at 3 different positions. He's also one of very few defensive I think he got it when he was a nose tackle, 20.5 sacks in one season. Incredible.
Unfortunately, that's not documented.
No.
That was like 2 years before they started keeping sacks.
Yeah, they didn't start counting sacks until after that. That's what's so wild about that whole thing. Like, I wonder how good were some of these defensive linemen, not just in the sack exchange, but like even other teams, like prior to all that. Like, why would you not keep track of that? It's like such an important. Yeah. Maybe it wasn't a passing league, I guess, or like
maybe not, but I don't know. I'm with you.
Yeah,
it's called it a tackle.
No. I thank you guys for having me on. I'm just super happy. I'm super pumped getting ready for this season. I hope we get to all actually get to watch the games in person. I mean, the live streams are great during the season last year, but hopefully we get to see each other in person and have some beers, have some liquor, get some food. And
sounds good, dude. I'm looking for week 1. I can't wait. I really hope it's full attendance. I can't wait, brother. Sneakers to Boots, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We'll talk to you again. I'm sure soon. Bam! You've been ejected. Nice. Oh God, he gets me so excited. I just can't wait for the season now. We got to wait like 6 months or whatever. It's like, this is the part of the season that's like, it starts like dragging. But you guys got to hang out with us. See, we're going to be here. We're going to be ranting and talking.
You're out.
Yeah, we got some stuff. Scott. I got Scott coming on next. Let me see. Bam! Scott, how you doing, brother?
Hey, what's up, guys?
How you feeling about this year's draft class?
Oh, man, I love it. It's been just such a great offseason for us. You know, Joe Douglas has us going in the right direction. Saleh, what a great pickup, man. That was my guy from day one. I know everyone thought he was going to Detroit, but I was always holding out hope. The energy he brings. I've always been a fan of the Shanahan system. So once we landed him, I knew it was destined from that point. I was like, all right, the Jets, we're on our way.
Dude, I was like, he was not even on my radar. I was thinking like offensive-minded head coach. I was like, I don't want to lose it. Like, I don't want our rookie to miss out on our, the offensive coordinator gets stolen from him. And I'm just thinking all these bad thoughts. And then he comes in for an interview. I'm like, that's interesting. And then I started looking up on him. I'm like, oh man, I'm going to be so mad if this guy walks out of the building. And then he walks out of the building. And I'm like, oh no, this guy's falling. And then they bring in Arthur Smith, which is like chubby Nick Cage. And I was like, I couldn't do it. I was like, no. And then he came back, and then it was just all rainbows.
Yeah, I got nervous. There. I wasn't on the Saleh train from the beginning. You guys know I was all Greg Roman and that stuff. But once the interviews came in, he was the guy that I wanted the most out of who was interviewed. But yeah, I'm so happy with the pick, man. Good for you, man. You were ahead of us on that one. At least some of us. At least me. Let me say it that way.
Yes, definitely ahead of me. I was Brian Dable all day.
Yeah, it's all good, man. Yeah, this draft was really nice. I think, everyone's talking about Barrett Tucker. I love the Barrett Tucker pick, but I almost feel like we're taking the Zach Wilson pick for granted, man. Like, that is such a big deal to get our quarterback for the future. You know what I mean? His accuracy, he's going to fit into the scheme. And, when you have our coaching staff, hey, this organization is going to lift you. Like, man, I believe it. I believe in this kid. And, I grew up in San Clemente where, like 5 minutes from Sam's high school. So I was always the biggest Darnold fan, man. Like, I'm only like 2 years older than him. So I've actually been to a couple of his high school games and stuff. And I was always rooting for him, like holding out hope, like, man, this guy's going to lead us. But it became apparent like it just wasn't going to happen. And, the quarterback's the most important position in this game. And so it's like bringing that kid in like that, you can't not be excited for him and just the potential he brings.
Dude, I can't tell you how disappointed I was that the Sam Darnold experiment didn't work out. I was so on board with this. Like, thought we struck gold.
100%.
And then everything after his rookie year. Like if we can have Zach Wilson's rookie year look like Sam's rookie year, I'm in. I'm cool with that. I can live with that, going toe to toe with one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Shows his way through adversity. Now I really hope we don't get an interception as his first pass. That would be. I'm not about that right now.
That was
better
games though towards the end.
Yeah, really. It wound up getting better, and then it's really the doom was the Adam Gase hire, and once that happened, it was just spiraled downhill. What would you say? Let's go this. What would you say the best value pick was in the draft?
Value pick in the draft, man. You got to go. I guess Elijah Moore, considering the way I look at it, because I hear a couple of people complain about losing 2/3, but the way I look at it is we got 3 first-round talents in the first 3 rounds. A normal year, that's as good as you can ask for. I understand, we got Michael Carter was even a good value pick. We got, I think, a lot of good value guys in this draft, but I think Elijah Moore for sure. Getting him at 34 was huge.
Yeah, dude, that's that seems like the consensus. If we would have taken him at 23, I think at least a lot of people would have been okay with it. I still think receiver is not the direction I would have gone at that pick, but seeing how they handled the rest of the draft and how they are surrounding Zach Wilson, I think I feel a little bit better about that pick than I initially did.
It shows Joe Douglas also is thinking ahead. He's building the team for right now, but he's also thinking ahead because we all know that Crowder, I don't think it's going to be, he's probably not going to be on the team list next year. Even with the Brandon Marshall, I would have gone kicker there, but I get it. I think Shepard and Fudakasi, their contracts are up, so it gives us another pipeline guy for that position. Sure. I think, Douglas, he's always looking ahead as well as setting us up for now. And man, I think we should just all be so pumped for what's going to come, the next couple years.
Dude, I love it. Scott, we're going to get some more callers. Thank you so much for calling in, brother.
Thanks, Scott.
Boom! You've been ejected. Oh, I love it. Clay, you ready, brother? Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, Clay Wavy coming in here.
Hey, what's up, guys? Brother? Good to see you. Doing good. How are you guys?
Yeah, good. How you feeling about this draft we got?
Well, I'm feeling. I got the room looking green, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. I think our draft. This is the best draft we've had since I can't even remember. You can argue the Revis draft, but I think we got more quantity and quality. So this draft was definitely exciting. I do want to say about our pick. I'm actually happy that we won those 2 games and went second overall, because now in hindsight, I think we would have fumbled that. I think so. I think the expectations and the pressure of having Trevor Lawrence would have been now we have to be this playoff contending, and knowing the Jets and our history, we would have fumbled that so bad, some way, somehow. So I'm so happy we had second overall. I'm glad we picked Zach Wilson. Now it's kind of we can be the unsung heroes under the radar. Now we can take our 2-3 year period mark to become that playoff team. So I'm kind of happy we didn't get the first overall pick. I know we didn't feel that way 2-3 months ago, but I think in hindsight, it was the better thing. Yeah. Especially you, Ryan. I remember you were upset.
Well, dude, I was devastated. The biggest part for me and why I was so upset was because I thought we were not going to attract a good head coach because we lost that pick. Once we got Salah, totally flipped the script. Totally fine. If we had wound up with, say, what was it, the Rams defensive coordinator or something like that, or what happened to the Texans or the Eagles, not getting very good options. That's where I thought the Jets were headed, and I was just heartbroken because that's what I saw. And then getting Salah it totally changed it. Dude, I completely agree too. With the second overall pick, there's not as much pressure on Zach Wilson, and he knows this team's still a little, I won't say it a dumpster fire, but it's still a building. We're a year away, and you're not going to have as much pressure. If you bring Trevor Lawrence in, target on our back immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. People are just waiting for us to fail. Just waiting for us to fail.
Yeah. And I'm not going to lie. It's not going to, I don't think it'll shock anyone if Trevor Lawrence isn't the best quarterback in this draft class when it's all said and done. A lot of times the top quarterback is not the best one. And
well, I'm kind of, I agree with you. I'm on that train of thought. I actually I don't want to say that Trevor Lawrence won't succeed, but I think him going to a franchise organization like Jacksonville, I think his first 3 years might be it might not be the prettiest. I honestly, I wish him the best, but
yeah, absolutely. But I don't understand why they went with ETN when they had Robinson on the roster, who just had like 1,000 yards. Like that seems like a horrible mismanagement of resources for your young quarterback when you got a ton of holes on your team.
Agree.
And that right there was a very telltale sign of like, this might be a rough couple first 3 years because the rest of Trevor Lawrence, that's easy. That's a no-brainer. Let's see what you do after that. That's where I think general managers I think that's where Joe Douglas separates himself in the upper tier because you can see, listen, I know a lot of people got a little excited about the trade in the 2 third-round picks. I know someone previously just said that. Once I saw we moved it to 14th, I had to put my beer down. I almost spilled it. You know what I mean? Because that right there, I was like, all right, let's see who this is. I had this little fantasy that we would do that for Kyle Pitts, but he was taken at 4. So I think Elijah Vera Tucker was the next best choice. Once I saw that, I was like, yeah, these they know they have a plan and they're following it. I actually believe this draft, you can argue that the way they handled the later end with like taking so many defensive backs, yeah, they were kind of throwing darts, rolling dice. But to me, that was just like, I forgot who said it. Someone said that's good competition. But I also saw that as, okay, you know what? This year, let's just get a lot of foundation pieces. Next year's draft, that's when we'll round out the rest of the roster. And I think by 2022-23, I think the green might be back. I think Gang Green might be back for real. I honestly do believe so. I think they have a plan.
Well, and think about it. We have 5 picks in the first 3 rounds as it stands right now to do what you're talking about. I agree, man. Joe Douglas has been focusing on foundation. And once we see where we are this year after the season, we're going to be able to add some of those pieces that you're alluding to. And I think having 5 picks in the first 3 rounds, that's the year to really slam it home and get your stars on your roster, man.
You can get your number 1 corner next year. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? You can get your right tackle or whatever becomes a need next year. So Jamal Adams, love. Thank you. Appreciate it. Love.
But
Adams and
love.
Gase. Adams and Gase. Save the day.
Yes, sir. I have a question for you guys. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ryan.
No. I was just going to say the internet's in the chat says they took ETN, the Jaguars, for familiarity with T. Lawrence. You don't take a running back for familiarity when you say he's going to be a third down running back. What?
Yeah.
No, it's horrible.
What kind of impact is? Yeah.
No.
Hey, happy we're New York fans. What are you guys' personal favorites? And I know you guys have all mentioned it on all your channels personally, but what's your favorite free agent addition and your favorite draft addition?
So I'll say my favorite addition. It's got to be Lawson. I really like the Lawson signing a lot. We've needed an edge rusher for so long. I'll say that, and then draft pick. It's hard for me not to take Elijah Vera Tucker because I wanted Tooney real bad. So like you hit the edge rusher and the offensive lineman with those 2 right there. That would be my choice.
Yeah, for me, I'm that's a cop-out answer because I'm going to steal Ryan's, but it's the obvious one for the same reasons he laid out. Lawson because they ignored edge rush forever. And
since Calvin Pace.
Yeah, exactly. And then in the draft, the aggressive play to get up for Elijah Vera Tucker was the one for me. I think it was really solid. So,
yeah.
So let me do this. You know who I agree, but let me say something I'm also pretty excited about, and that's Keelan Cole. Like after our first receiver or 2, like he's going to be our 4th receiver, and the word is that guy's ready to pop. And when you watch his last year, he's an exciting player. Our receivers last year, when anybody went down, we had guys like Hogan and Moncrief hobbling him and limping on the field. Having Keelan Cole as the 4th guy, man, I mean, dude, we're raising everything up to a different level. And what was that? You want me to? Who'd I like out of the draft?
Out of your draft, yeah.
Jason Paddock or Pinnock is my favorite.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. I think grabbing the first 3 picks are fantastic, but I'll say Elijah Moore, man. He's the one that excites me the most. I'm like, I didn't expect him, and I think he's like an X Factor kind of guy. It's our Tyreek Hill type that we haven't had in a very long time.
And it's interesting that you bring up Cole, because now that you look at our depth, this is a very, very intriguing wide receiver core. They can go multiple routes. I'm a lot, and I don't know if you guys are big on Crowder. I personally love Crowder. I think he was a professional in the darkest days, and I just like his play style. I think he's a gamer. Whether he stays with us next year is, give or take, but I think this wide receiver core is a lot more dynamic. We have a lot more deep threats. I do miss Robbie. I don't know if you guys are on the same page with that. I think that's the only thing that you can nitpick about Joe Douglas. And I even understand why he did it, but I thought Robbie was going to be a Jet for at least the next 3 years. I remember when the Jets played the Panthers, I think in 2017. That was the first Jets game I went to, and like Robbie lit it up. Like that was his game where he made it. Being there live was just crazy. So, but I hope he succeeds in Carolina. Last question, guys. Do you guys remember? This is really random, but it just kind of popped up in my head. Do you guys remember how you felt? I think it was back in 2014 when we traded Revis to the Bucks. Do you remember how you felt when that happened? Because I remember contemplating if I even want to watch football again. Like,
dude,
no.
when I watched that when I watched him drop during that Miami game, untouched, and I was just like, oh no, I know what this means. Like, he's gone. There's no way we're gonna hold on to him. And as it got closer and closer, it was just like, okay, it's going to be a reality. I was like, I just hope we get 2 firsts. Then we wound up getting it would have been a first and a third, I think, but it wound up being just a first because they
first and a fourth. We got a fourth.
We did get the fourth. Okay.
We took Jalen Saunders with that one.
Oh, that was a great receiver pick.
Look at Matt O'Leary.
Thanks, Itzik. Appreciate it, bud.
Dude, it was so bad.
And then what? We ended up picking D. Milliner and
Sheldon Richardson.
Oh, yeah, good stuff, right?
It was.
I remember being crushed, man. Yeah, those are the dark days.
That's how I felt when we traded Keyshawn Johnson. I felt sick. I couldn't. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated wearing red, and I couldn't even look at it. I was so
throw
sick
up worthy. Yeah, throw up worthy. And wasn't it Reggie Bush who actually like juked him, or I think he went for? I think it was Reggie Bush. I think he was on the. I think that was Reggie Bush. I think Reggie Bush was on Miami that year, and I think he had juked him, and Revis went for the tackle, and then the rest was history. Whatever. But here we go. The future is bright.
Dude, it's so bright. Thank you so much for coming on, Clay. We'll see you in the chat. We'll see you on our next. Take it easy. Boo! We've been ejected. And Sneakers to Boot says, Ryan, you should pay StreamYard for the flying chicken. I got to figure out how to. I want to integrate my normal Streamlabs setup with all the motion and everything going on while still being able to do this fun stuff on here. And I'm not sure how to make that work yet. I'll have to figure something out.
I do like this, though. I think a part of me likes the StreamYard setup.
I do. I think it's more conducive for talking to people a lot. And you can kind of throw different things up on the screen. There's not as much moving pieces to it either. Like, when I have things popping in and out and then like things get a little crazy looking, like I can pop up the comment on the screen, but it's not as easy as StreamYard makes it. StreamYard's just
nice and
super simple. All right, John, brother, you ready? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready.
You know the best thing about StreamYard, though, and it saves me, is when there is an internet problem, it brings you back in. That's cool.
That is nice. Yeah, it's not like Zoom. Yeah. I do like that. If I could figure out how to do like extra stuff on here, I think I'd be. I don't know. I love the chicken. I just love the chicken. So I got to get the chicken back.
Yeah, man.
John, what's up, brother? How you doing tonight?
Boys.
What's up, buddy?
I like this video thing. You get to know some of the people on the channel, and then you get to see what they actually look like. It's kind
of. Dude, I like it. It's fun.
It's good. So, no more mock drafts, man. I'm in heaven.
Thank God. I'm done with them so much until week 2 or 3, I guess. When everyone's like, "Oh God, what's happening?"
No, you got to do one for next year early and see how you did. I did one last year, the day after the draft. It's atrocious.
It's so hard.
I got to the point with those, like Matt O'Leary got with the Sam Darnold talks.
You're just over it, man. I get it.
Just pulling your hair out. Ugh.
I get it.
So what would you say? What would you give this grade for the draft? What would you call this?
Either a B+ or an A. It's close.
Mm-hmm. But who was your favorite player, you think?
in the draft or with the free agents?
Let's go draft, and then we'll go free agents.
Draft. Obviously, I'm stoked about Zach Wilson. I think with that fast release like Marino had, that could be really important, especially if your line isn't fully intact, you know.
Well, that's just it, especially with the cornerbacks. Like any sort of tip-off that you can give to a cornerback to start breaking early, like Trevor Lawrence's long windup, that will be some sort of hurdle he may have to overcome. He may have to try and learn to throw a little faster. Zach Wilson, rocket launcher.
He's
Real
got
nice.
some fast release. That's going to pay dividends. But I was so psyched when they moved up for Vera Tucker. I know we paid a price for it, but it was a great move. That line seriously needed help.
Yeah, and to protect his blind side is huge. Like that's just it. Like to have the confidence in like, hey, look, you see Becton, that big dude over there, 6'7" guy, that's like 400 pounds. Yeah, he's your left tackle. And then the best guard in this class, yeah, he's your left tackle. So like, don't worry about behind you. You're okay. Worry about the play happening in front of you. We got your back.
And you see that little guy from Ole Miss, throw him the ball.
Yeah.
Let him get him in space.
And as far as free agents, I love this kid Lawson. I mean, did you see the interview with him? What a class act that guy is.
So fun.
I mean,
so good.
Really good guy, and his playing is phenomenal.
Dude, he's one of those types of players that can just pop off. Like you get him in space, he'll make a guy miss and just take it 50 yards. We haven't had that guy in a long time. Like I don't even know who Matt, who would the last receiver be that we had that, you know, you were really threatened by on defense?
That you're
Decker?
Marshall, yeah, probably like 2015
that's
Marshall. But that was
and that
year, you know?
Yeah, and it's not even like that explosive receiver. It was like he was just there to like catch a, you know, he would make a big time catch or they'd be in traffic with Decker. Like I don't think we've had that like explosive presence in a long time.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But having Lawson's the defensive end, right?
Yep. Yeah, he's the edge rusher we got from Cincinnati.
I'm interested how that's going to free up the double coverage on Quinnen too. So Quinnen Williams.
Dude, that's the biggest thing. Like Quinnen being healthy is going to be such a pivotal part to this whole defense because if he can eat up a double team, then you have three guys going against three other guys, and they just have to beat their one-on-one. Like that's so massive. That cannot be understated.
You know what I really love seeing throughout this draft that you really didn't get to see this until then, but the chemistry between Saleh and Joe Douglas.
That's true.
You could just see these guys are so in line with each other, like, and the energy that is coming off these guys. It's gonna trickle down all over the team. So,
yeah, man.
100%. John, listen, we're gonna get going. Thank you so much for calling in.
Great night, guys. Have a good one.
Boom! You've been ejected. Dimitri drops in with a super chat at the end here. Says way too early prediction, but hey. But what the hey? What they hey? What the hey? What are your predictions for stats of the skill players? Any 1,000-yard wide receivers or running backs? Can Zach break rookie touchdown record? I'll throw this to Matt first because you had a good answer, I think, yesterday on Richie's show.
No, I don't think so. I think we see a few guys above 800 receiving yards, but I think they spread the ball around. And same with the running backs. Like a part of me wants to be like, yeah, Michael Carter could be a 1,000-yard rusher, and maybe he can at some point, but I really think they spread the ball around. And I think maybe you see, them combine for the two of them. So I guess Carter and Ty Johnson for maybe like, I don't know, 1,600 yards between the two of them, something like that. And then, would it shock you if the Jets have three receivers in that like 750 to 950 range? Wouldn't for me.
Yeah, no, I think there's going to be a really nice option for Zach Wilson to spread the ball around. And I think that's honestly the best way you could do it, because if you have one receiver that you're getting 1,200, 1,400 yards, it's great, but you also don't want to create a prima donna. You also don't want to create a situation where you have to pay a wide receiver a crazy ton of money. Like, I think if you're kind of spreading the ball around a lot, it definitely, from a team building aspect, I think is probably more beneficial. Green Bean, what about you? You think there's any 1,000-yard receivers or backs?
No, I agree strongly with what Matt was saying. Like, I think the goal of this offense is to spread the ball around. But I will say this, I do think we're going to see some really impressive seasons from guys like Denzel Mims and Corey Davis. Like, I think that those guys are underratedly good. And then having Crowder and Elijah Moore, we're going to see a lot of really good seasons. I don't know if anybody's going to break 1,000 with this lineup, but man, am I excited to see all of them work together.
Dominic drops in with the super chat, says, what number do we want Wilson to have? 5 sounds fire. For me, it's 1. I want the 1, I think. What about you, Matt?
I don't like
You want
1.
a bigger number?
Yeah, give him 10. I know it's Chad's number, and some of the old heads are going to get mad about it, but 10's
I
a
can't
great.
see him in a 10. It's a good number. I
or
just
11.
can't give him Chad's
Have
number.
Denzel Mims go back to 5.
I'm good with that. I think that would be cool because then you just get 2 1s. He's pick number 2, Roman numeral 1-1, right?
So all these guys can go into the teens. Can a quarterback have like 32?
Oh, that'd be gross. I would hate that.
I think 19 might be the highest.
79.
I think they can go, yeah, right? Like some wacky lineman number or something.
Yeah.
I feel like,
all up. Why not?
have we had a 3 on our team? I think like Jay Fiedler was like a 3 back in the day.
Yeah, I remember a 3. Sanchez was 6. I like Donald. I think the 14 for me, that's what I grew up in. Like, that's the famous quarterbacks of my childhood were like the 14s, like Randy White and a lot of other guys. But anyway, that's to me, that's like perfect. So I'll give you 1 is kind of weird to me too. Yeah, that's how I see it, man. That's exactly right.
Yeah, but he won 1 in college. Like, what? I feel like he's gonna pick 1. Like, that just
4.
feels like the 4. I could do 4.
That's a kicker too, for me.
Yeah.
4s are
It's
kickers.
Favre. For me, it's Favre. I had a Favre jersey sitting in my closet. So, like, I mean, it's only 1 year. But
Yeah, that's right. That's a good point. Is how about 2? Do any quarterbacks have 2? Is that I don't.
2 is great. I don't like 2. 2
Yeah,
is
me neither.
maybe
I'm
it
just trying
feels
to
like
think
too
of what's
weak of a
weird.
number. Is that like the single digit numbers are like too?
No, but like 8's nice for a quarterback. Like 8's a
Yeah,
real
7.
number.
Why is 8 and 7 reminds me of Michael Vick? Like, that's a cool, like, that was always like a flashy number.
Ken
Like 8.
O'Brien.
9
had a
is
good-
a quarterback number.
Who had a good 8 or 9 jersey? I feel like Brunell was 8.
7. Brunell was 8. Saints, I don't know, man.
8. Well, you had Steve McNair as 9.
What was Geno Smith?
Okay.
Gino was 7.
7.
Yeah, that sucks because I love 7. Kenny
7
O,
is a
Brett,
number.
Kenny O'Brien, Boomer Esiason, they were both 7s. Richard Todd was 14, I think.
Yeah, I think.
I feel
Chad was
have a
10.
hard-
I like 10.
10
10's good, right? Solid.
I think 11. 11's my number. That's what I'm rolling with. I think it's got to be. I still think he's going to pick 1.
Nagel was 8.
I think Reggie Bush would have picked 5 had he been able to at the time. He wound up going with 25. Like, I think Wilson is going to want his college number. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. All right, boys and girls, we have reached the end of our show. Let's go around the panel. Matt, any closing words for our panel tonight?
Yeah, I want to do a plug because I decided to. I know that some people have short attention spans, so what I'm going to start doing is take some clips from the Just Jets podcast and put that on a different channel. So if you guys could subscribe to Just Jets clips, would really appreciate it. That's my channel where I'm going to be posting up some clips from the podcast episodes and like little short 5-minute segment stuff.
Nice, man. Yeah, is it already there?
Yeah, it's up already. There's
All
one
right.
video up, and we have like 35 subscribers at the moment. So.
Well, you're going to have
Guess who's
36
gonna?
at
Yeah,
least.
hold on. Just Jets clips. I can't even get the green beans because I want to like. Oh, you got 37, 38. Gotcha.
There you go.
Thank you, guys.
There you go. I love it.
Nice.
Green bean. Any last words for our panel tonight?
Yeah, I want to remind everybody it is now in stone. We are having a Jets fan meetup at the Coney Island Cyclone. Saturday, May 15th at 11 a.m. It's going to be cash. I was trying to put something a little bit more formal together, but it just didn't work out. So we're just going to meet up, ride the Cyclone a couple times, maybe get some Nathans. There's even some talk of going to one of those really good pizzerias. I forget what it is, a famous one afterwards. But that is what it is. 11 a.m. Saturday, May 15th. Jets fans hanging out at the Cyclone.
Green Bean. Two things. One, I will be there. Number two,
Nice.
the girlfriend wants to know what kind of cookies you and the family like, because she loves baking, and I think she's more excited to meet Green Bean than I am. She's obsessed with the loves Green Bean and the whole gimmick. So we got to know what kind of chocolate chip with little sprinkles. What kind of cookies do you and the fam want?
Yeah. Well, look, you can't go wrong with chocolate chip. Chocolate chip is about as good as it gets, in my opinion.
There you go. So
if you throw some sprinkles on there, like not the crunchy balls, like the ice cream sprinkles.
Of course,
you can't go wrong with them either.
There you go.
I love it. Boys and girls, thank you so much for flying with us tonight. It's been a lot of fun. We will be back. We will be back here next week, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, just for you guys. My name's Ryan. I've been your pilot tonight. This is Jets Talk signing off. JETS. Bam.